sorry. I'm still, because you know I only do this like once a week as far as Instagram goes. And Instagram made some changes that I don't understand. And so now for me to try and make a live, I don't want to make a reel. I want to make, I don't know how to do this. I need Instagram lessons. Great. And then of course I don't remember that.
Yeah, you don't know how beautiful you are.
Phone thing. I don't. I need I need Instagram lessons. Sorry, I know that I probably should have done this before. Start over, go away. I don't want to make a reel. I'm sorry, folks. I really am. I don't know what to do with, because it's, I guess it's not, okay, add to your story, right? And I want to make alive! I found it! Lord. No, did I just find it? I didn't find it. Oh, for flying out loud. I don't want to hide my story from anybody. I want to make a live. This is making me so frustrated. Grr. This is camera settings. All right, so come along. How do we make, I don't want to hide the story. All right, if you are somebody that understands how Instagram works these days, could you please, I need help. I'm so sorry. I'm so frustrated because I don't want to delete a story. I want to create something. I don't want to create a story. Be quiet. I don't want to. Let's see. And then I just feel like such a doofus because it's not where it used to be. And I guess I'm so used to like having the live things be like, you know, I know what to do when I. Hi, I'm sorry, I'm being like, I'm really having trouble. I don't want to upload that stuff. I don't know what to do. Oh, look, a spammer before we can even get started. Ed, you are banned from the page. Like, I don't even have time for you today. Wow, spammers before we even get started, and I'm having technical difficulties. All right. Add to your story because it used to be that when you would go, okay, that's not what I want. None of that is what I want. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm being so frustrated right now. And I should have like taken the time to get this figured out before. I found it! Oh my gosh. Isn't it like victorious? Like when you figure something out and that you've been struggling with? Okay, so for those of you who are here, please remember that, help me remember, that next week when I say, how the heck do you do a live on Instagram? That I'm going to say, you have to go into the camera. Okay, now I have to find how to turn the camera back on. Okay. Okay, we're all just going to take a deep breath because that was really frustrating for me. But it is sort of par for the course of what is going on with the world right now, astrologically and all the things. So there is a lot that is going on right now. And And so first of all, happy equinox, happy spring. And that's a good thing. Like, let's start with that. That's a good thing. It's spring. We're so happy to be in spring. It is lovely. Oh, look, another spammer. We've like barely even gotten started, and you're banned. Goodbye. See you later. Okay. So if you're a spammer, just leave now because I'm going to ban you, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. So just go. Welcome to spring. Welcome to the spring equinox. It is so wonderful to have that crispness in the air, that freshness, the air of possibilities, and at the same time that we have this, we have the equinox and it's time for spring. At the same time, we have so much stuff shifting in the atmosphere. So I want to just run you through some of this stuff because we had the new moon, we had the equinox, and we had the full moon rather. We had the full moon, so we're not in the new moon yet. We had the full moon, and so here I want to like share some stuff. Oh gosh, another one. Goodbye. You're banned. You're banned. Goodbye. If you're a spammer, just leave because I'm going to ban you. You're done. You're banned. Go away. So, hey Bonnie. So, we'll do the card readings at the end. So, for right now, I want you to understand that right now we have, so we had the spring equinox. So today, that's today. It's the first day of spring. Woo! This is the beginning of Aries season, so winter is going to end officially, right? And so then we also have this change because we have talked about before how Saturn was moving, Pluto was moving. We had all the planets going, and that there was a lot of change and shift, and it was going to feel very unsettled. And in a lot of ways, especially with Pluto coming in, because Pluto is so far away from us that Pluto comes into our environment so slowly, and so Pluto has not been in our astrological charts from the time that we were in the time that most of us have been alive. And so Pluto's going to stay in our astrology for a long time. And then because he's so far away, his orbit is so big that, and if you know, like the orbits are sort of elliptical. So when the part that he's coming into where Earth is, it's taken, years and years. So there is all kinds of this unsettled feeling that is coming in from these planets shifting. So this is going to be this new cycle of energy that we haven't felt in our lifetimes. We haven't felt. And so we have this, we had Mars and Neptune that were kind of working against each other, and Saturn now is in I believe Aquarius, and Pluto is going to change, and then we're going to have eclipses coming up in the next couple of moon cycles. So right now, with all of the stuff that feels very changey, really to be kind to yourself. We also know this is tax season, and so a lot of people are working on their taxes, and there's those moments when you're doing those things that make you want to pull your hair out. And so the thing I want you to remember is that everything is okay, and that we just have to take a breath and be gentle to ourselves, and that it's okay if you're working on a project. It is okay to walk away if you need some breath and you need to go outside and talk to a tree and stand in the grass and take some space. That is one of the things that is really important, is to just allow yourself the compassion that we would offer to others. A lot of, if you have other people that would be, you would see them struggling, and then you would be compassionate to them, but often we're not as compassionate with our own selves. So who is leaving signs for me but you don't see them? So you're not seeing the signs, Miles, or you're not seeing the person who's leaving the signs. We often don't see the person who's leaving the signs, but the thing I would suggest is when you are looking at the sign and the part of you that acknowledges, I see this is a sign, when you ask yourself that question, who is this from? Whatever is popping into your head, honor that, because very often we have that moment where, like, I don't know I see that this is a sign. I'm not really sure what it means. Who is sending me this sign? And then to be able to acknowledge whatever pops into your consciousness, that is where the sign is coming from, to say, oh, okay, if my sign is coming from, let's say, a grandmother, then to be able to say, well, what is it that you're trying to get me to understand? And it's okay to ask them for more. We don't have to, it's not take what you get and that's it. Okay, if you get a sign and you're not understanding it, ask them for another one. Ask for more information. They have so much ability and frankly, time on their hands, to no disrespect, to be able to say, I need more information. I'm not understanding what this is. So it is okay for you to ask for them to give you more signs, or to give you signs in a different way, or to help clarify who is sending the signs. I think also we have, because we tend to operate from left brain, of ego, of wanting to be in control, of wanting to, to understand how everything works, that sometimes we put a little too much emphasis on who. Like, people come to me and they say, well, who is my guide and what is their name, and all of those things. And so who is the message from may not be as important as what is the actual thing they're trying to get you to understand. And I think that there's often where we as humans, we waste a lot of time where they're trying to get us to look one way or the other, and we're wasting a lot of time asking about, well, who is this, as if we need like validation that it's that the source is reliable. Where we pick up the telephone, in this day and age, people don't usually answer their cell phone if it's not a phone number that they recognize. Hi, Louisa. If it's not a number that they recognize. And so you may have people, who, where you try to call them, but they don't have your number in their phone. And so that has to go to a voicemail, or, and they'll call you back. And sometimes we'll text and be like, hey, I texted you. This is who it is. Just to make sure people will catch the message. We do that same thing as humans. We do that with messages from guides and messages from our loved ones and signs and things like that, where we are looking at like, well, who is this? I don't recognize that number. I'm not going to take that sign. I don't want to pick up that symbol, that sign, because I'm not sure who sent it. And so I understand the impetus, of course, when we are looking on our cell phones to be like, well, who's calling? But when we're looking at signs from the universe and signs from our guides and our loved ones, it is, I feel like we can give them the benefit of the doubt that if you have something that lands in front of you, that it is a sign, it is totally a sign, there is no other two ways about it. In your mind, you understand that that's a sign. Then the next question is, what is this asking me to do or showing me, or how is this trying to help me or guide me, rather than who's calling, please? Because again, I think we miss out on timing, or we waste time worrying about, are you vetted? Can I trust this source? When if it's coming in as a sign from the beyond, for me, it's always that I just trust them. I just trust them. So white feathers, yeah, absolutely. I see there's all kinds of stuff. Today I went out to look at my garden. There was not a wind, a breeze, there was nothing. And all of a sudden my tomato plant went like this, woo! And it's like a big tomato plant, but only one section of it. And there was no lizards, there was no wind, there was no anything other. And this one part of it just went woo! And you could just see it. It looked like, honestly, because I believe in the fairies and the nymphs and the sprites. It really looked like somebody had done a sprite from like one spot to the next, and from one branch to the next. And I was just like, okay, hi, so I want to acknowledge them. I want to welcome them, because what happens when we welcome them into our lives is then they show up more, because we're allowing them, we're encouraging them to do more. So rather than questioning, what is that? That is my dog Bo. If you're new and you haven't met Bo, here's Bo. He's new. 3 weeks tomorrow. Oh shit. My cat is still outside, probably. So rather than asking who is that or what is that, to be able to just say, hey, thanks for visiting. So my response to the fairies and my tomato plants is always like, welcome welcome. You know, what is it you want to show me? Because I don't know how long they'll stay. I don't know how much, because as a medium, I know that they have to bring their energy down to talk to me. Hey, enough. Thank you. They need to bring their energy down to connect with me. I need to bring my energy up for them. So I don't know how long they're going to be able to stay. And so I want to make sure that if I'm getting a message or I'm getting a sign, I'm not wasting time with the left side of my brain. I want to go right into the right side of the brain and go, okay, what do you got for me? Here I am. Let's go, you know, because I don't know if they're going to come back or anything like that. So, okay, so Angel, Rachel has numbers of 777 and 111. And those things are really important. Also looking for numbers that are consecutive, like 789, 123. Those things also are telling you that you're on the right path as well. So those things are really important. Okay, so so right now we have this ego thing going on because the sun is in Mars. Okay, and Mars is there's a lot of macho, powerful energy that's in there, and so right now we want to also be very cognizant. So this is, you know, fits right in with what we're talking about. We want to be really cognizant of not letting our ego get carried away. So when somebody says, you know, hi, hello, angel face, you know, and they're sending us signs and symbols, let's stay on the right side of our brain to be like, hi, I receive you. What is it? I'm open to. Who said that? Somebody said, Orvan said, I welcome any messages. And that's exactly the right attitude to have, because if they're coming and we are leading from a place of love, then guess what? The messages are going to be love-based. So if you are leading from a place of hostility or anger or, you know, low vibration, jealousy, and rage, and those kind of things, and the messages that you're going to receive will be in alignment with that. So having our own energy be being cognizant of our own energy. You're going to have to get used to the fact that we do things on Mondays that you can't bark at, right? He's like, what? So looking at you know, the things that are coming into us to make sure that we are receiving them with love, especially in this time. Oh, look, we have another spammer. Then you get deleted right away. That's so cool. Banned from page. Bye, banned. If you're a spammer, we're going to ban you. So it's just like not even a thing. So just go. So knowing that we have this really strong sun energy and this really strong Mars energy, we also want to be, and also Pluto comes in to shake things up. Pluto is about change and transition, and Pluto is also about building community and bringing people together. But if we're stuck in our ego and we're in this place of anger and hostility, which is coming in that Sun and Mars energy, we want to make sure that we are giving ourselves latitude to dissipate those kind of things. So this is going to be a period of time for kind of a long time. We want to really make sure you're prioritizing self-care. You want to stand in the grass if you can. It's spring, so hopefully if you're north somewhere, it's going to be you know, the ground will be thawed and you'll be able to stand in the ground. This is the equinox. If you are not in the northern hemisphere, it's summer. So we want to make sure that you are taking some time for self-care. It's going to be really important as we're going through this next period of time. And so we have Venus, which is about love and relationships, and Venus is also in opposition to Pluto. And so Pluto is kind of like getting the death card in a tarot deck. So Pluto is wanting to bring change and shift things and close doors and reopen and open new doors. But Pluto is also about empowerment, and it is going to, again, bring this into this transformational time for what is it that you want to create. And I love this when I was looking at some of the astrology parts, and remember, I am not an astrologer, but when I was looking at some of the information about what's going on right now, one of the things I absolutely loved is that with Pluto, because Pluto is a planet of transformation and building empowerment and building community, bringing people together, the thing about Pluto is so much about the questions that we have been asking all this time, right? What do you want to create? How do you want to show up in the world? What kind of a world do you want to be in and to live in? And what are you willing to bring to the table about it? So these kind of questions that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks, because we started talking about this stuff back like in Thanksgiving time, knowing that as we shifted into this new year, this year was going to be, right? What have I been saying? 2023 is a year about me, right? Not me personally, but for each of us to be able to say 2023 is the year about me. And so asking yourself, what is it that you want to create in this world that is going to add to the world, to make the world that you want to live in, to create the world that you want to live in? How are you able to show up in that? And what are you bringing out to contribute to the world? So this is a really big time for letting your voice be heard. And also knowing that we have this Capricorn moon going on, and Capricorn is very like slow and steady. I'm Capricorn, and I'm not a speedy person. I'm not a person who likes to rush around and do everything at the last minute. I'm also not a person who can like sprint forward and like do 50 things in one day, and then I'm like, all right, I reached that goal. Dropped my Instagram. I dropped my phone. Sorry, guys. I'm not, that's not my personality style, to be able to be like, oh, I'm just going to knock all this out. I'm going to sit down and write a book today, right? That's not my personality style. And so knowing, sorry about that, Instagram. And so knowing your personality style, knowing, are you more of like a Zoom person? And I don't mean the video Zoom, I mean like, or are you are more of a person that is like a slow and steady wins the race person? There's not a right or a wrong, but knowing who you are and how you're showing up in this, because right now we have this Capricorn energy going on, which I love. Capricorn and the moon, Capricorn moon makes me feel like wrapped in a blanket personally, because I am in Capricorn, and Capricorn is my sun sign, and Capricorn is that slow and steady pace, keep moving towards your goal. Everything that is happening with this transitional stuff and this transformational energy that Pluto is bringing in is happening while we have this moon in the Capricorn cycle. So if you're feeling a little like, I'm feeling a little like pulled and angry and frustrated, and there's transition stuff and things are ending and things are starting and everything seems to be in flux, take some breaths and just breathe in to that moon energy, breathing in the earth energy, and just know that all of this is being transformed in a way to really change the way our world is. And don't you feel right now like the world is really just topsy-turvy? And so it is really about keeping ourselves grounded in that Capricorn energy, trusting that these things that are being kind of like taffy, if you've ever you've ever had to do things where you like have to pull them apart and then you mix them back together, and you have to really smoosh them, smoosh them until they get really mixed. I did, I have the Invisalign for my teeth, and you had to mix this color with this color to do the impressions for your teeth. And so you had to mix until they were all really one color. And so you have these two separate colors that you have to really smoosh them together to be able to create something new. But it took some work and some determination and persistence to continue to smoosh them until there was no stripes of either color left. So what was there transformed into something else that would enable me to, do the thing with my teeth and all of that. So it's really important that we understand that while things are feeling kind of stretchy, pulley, topsy-turvy, going in different directions, and things all seem like they're doing, being flung all over the place, it's bringing something together to bring something new, to create something new. This is Pluto's energy mixing in with the Capricorn, slow and steady wins the race moon. I love this quote, and I don't even know who to give credit to, but it said, the best time to change is when change is happening anyway. So I'm like, okay. So if everything is changing anyway, roll with it. If everything is changing anyway, then this is a great time for you to embrace the change. I remember when my younger son was born, My older son was just barely 3, because they're 3 years apart exactly. I had a C-section to have him, my younger one, born. And then as a director with Mary Kay, I was in director qualifications. I had stepped out of director qualifications because I was having the baby, and I had been on bed rest, and there was a lot of complications and all kinds of drama. And so when my younger one was 5 weeks, not even 6 weeks, he was 5 weeks, because I looked at the finish line of where I wanted to finish, and I backed it up, and I thought, oh, well, if I'm going to make it by when I need to cross this finish line, I need to start when he's 5 weeks. So when my younger one was 5 weeks old and my older one was 3 years old, and I have just had a C-section, and now my younger one is like not a sleeper, even to this day, 20 years later, he's not a good sleeper. And so I'm like, well, everything sucks right now. I'm tired. I'm in pain. I'm not sleeping. Everything hurts. All of it just sucks. I love my babies. I was so happy everyone was healthy and safe. But if everything is going to suck, and everything is going to be in transition, and everything is going to be topsy-turvy, I'm going to throw whatever else in there that needs to get done, because I'm not sleeping anyway, and I'm going to have the topsy-turvy roller coaster for a shorter amount of time. So rather than waiting until my son was sleeping, or done nursing or whatever it was, to then start the next thing, I said, if everything is going to just be topsy-turvy and crazy, I'm just going to embrace that and dive right in and be topsy-turvy for a lesser amount of time. And there's something really amazing about that. There's a bird, I can't think right now of the kind of a bird, but it's a bird that is known for it swims into, it flies into the storm. And I can't think right now for the kind of the bird that it is. But I remember thinking that it was so amazing, because this bird, the flocks of these birds, when they know a storm is coming, they fly into the storm, because they're like, well, if it's going to be topsy-turvy, and the storm is coming this way, we're going this way, let's not wait for it to catch us and we have to go through the whole storm. If we go this way, then we shorten the amount of time that we're in the storm. And that is really where I want to encourage you to think about right now, because it's going to be topsy-turvy. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is changing and shifting as we have all these movements of Pluto and the Sun and Mars and Saturn and all the things that are happening with the equinox. And then we're going to come into, because we're in the waning right now, and we're going to have the new moon in just a few more days. And so we have all of this energy, and then it's going to start to calm down as we get into the new moon. But if things are going to be crazy anyway, and you know where you're trying to go, and you know what kind of a world you would like to create, and ask yourself, how can I contribute to that kind of the world? If this is the world I want to live in, how can I contribute to creating that world? And again, it doesn't have to be like on a giant platform. We can make ripples on our own pond that make a very big difference. And so how can you create the world that you want to live in your own? Sometimes you got to start in your own apartment, and then you're going to move to your apartment complex and your block and your city and your town and the whole thing. And so don't think for a minute that your one contribution to making the world a better place doesn't matter, because it does. Now, I'm also going to say vote, 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 because you need a vote. But even an independent contribution, making your voice heard and contributing to the kind of a world that you want to live in, those are major energies that are coming forward right now. Okay, those are major energies that are coming forward right now. And so I really want to encourage you to lean into that. So when you're feeling this topsy-turviness, to be able to say, how do I contribute? How do I make my voice be heard? If everything is changing, what am I going to jump in that deep end and change to make my world a better place, to make my life better, and hopefully to make the things better for the people around me? And the last thing I want to say about that we want to say about that, is about leading with love. That it's really important that we're leading with love. We're not coming forward with, even though we have this Saturn and Mars and the Sun, all going along, this is not a time of revenge. This is not a time of creating roadblocks for someone else, because karma can be instant. I was late for something, and it was not even a good, important something, and I misjudged where the turn into the parking lot was, and I realized I was in the wrong lane, and I ended up cutting off the person behind me, and I didn't mean to do that. And I felt badly, and I pulled in, and I didn't realize there was another entrance. I could have gone a little further, and we all would have had more room. It was totally my fault. And I turned into the thing, and as soon as I turned and went into the parking lot, someone did exactly the same thing to me. And I thought, yeah, I know. That was my fault. I shouldn't have been rushing because it wasn't even something important that I was rushing for. So asking yourself, how do I want to contribute to the world I want to live in? How can I make my voice be heard? And asking yourself, giving ourselves grace and remembering to lead from that place of love. But right now, while things are super topsy-turvy, embrace it. Embrace the topsy-turvy. Embrace the suck. Embrace the... It's frustrating, right? It's very frustrating, and it's okay to embrace that because we want to fly into the storm, right? We want to fly into the storm. You don't want to have to go all the way across the storm. If you go and they go, you're going like this much, right? So you don't want to, you don't have to endure all of it if you are jumping into the deep end of change when things are changing anyway. Because the thing is, there's always going to be change. Change is not something we can control. So we can dive in and choose how we react to change, how we participate in change, because when things are changing and we're in there going, no! Change is going to be a hell of a lot harder than when we are in there going, all right, we're rolling. Change is happening. Let's just get in there and be like, well, if all this is going on, I'm going to do this too. All right, I might as well do this because if it's all going to change, it might as well all change. It's like painting a room, right? If you're going to paint your room, you probably are not going to just paint around the furniture and the pictures on the wall. You're going to have to move stuff out the way. And so that's what's going on where we are right now. All right, so I see some people have some questions. Oh, Natasha, I'm so sorry that you are having so much trouble. I cannot answer your question, my friend, but I can tell you that you are not alone. I can tell you that one person is not going to make or break your life. And giving your ex that much power over you is isn't a good thing. When I work with people who are dealing with drama and relationships, I'm always looking for people who have a relationship like this. Okay, I want to see a relationship where you're not far apart, you're not smothering each other, one person's not on top or above or anything like that. It's even, right? You're together, you're going this way, you're together. And that's really important, that if your relationship is one person is over the other or one person has their back turned to the other, then it's not a balanced relationship. And so if you are really having suicidal thoughts, I strongly encourage you to dial on your phone, 9888, where you can get help for suicidal ideation, because we want to keep you safe, we want to keep you protected, we want to keep you here. And that one person does not get to make all those decisions for you about how you go forward in your life. You get to make those decisions about how you go forward in your life. And if your ex is someone who has left you feeling this way, really ask yourself, and you may not be ready for this, and I apologize if you're not, but to ask yourself, is this person good for me? Do we have this balanced relationship? Is this person someone who lifts me up? The relationship, every relationship that we're in, from the time that we're, fourth grade holding hands and, we be my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is, every relationship that we experience in a paired relationship has the ability to teach us more and more about what we want and need from a paired relationship. My husband and I, we lived together before we got married because we wanted to see if we could. And would we be able to work some stuff out? And would we be able to build a relationship together where we would be supportive and invested in each other? And there wasn't always easy, and there were definitely times when we were not supportive of each other. But it's really to ask yourself if this person brings out the best in you and encourages you to be more than you were without them. Because if they're not, if they're taking and you're exhausted and sad every time that you're in that space, it might not be the right relationship for you. And I know there's a big difference between being exhausted and sad when we're in a grief moment or in a grief process. But I want to really encourage you to reach out to get help if you need that, even if you're not sure. And just to know that you are not alone, and that one person does not get to decide your future for you. You get to decide your future. And the relationships that we want to cultivate with others we want them to be worthy of us, because if they're not, hit the road, Jack, right? We don't want any energy vampires around here. So we're all going to send you a lot of love. We're going to send you a lot of hugs, a lot of good energy vibes, right? Lots of prayers. But please do reach out to get, I'm not a mental health professional. I do not claim to be one. And I really want to encourage you to reach out for that support if that's if you are having those suicidal ideation, because we just want to keep you safe. Okay. All right. Yes, keep your soul light shining loud and proud. My friend Zach, my friend Kaya. And hi. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do an animal spirit card. We're going to, because I feel like we need one. And we're going to do some cards for everyone. And then we'll do the collective card we'll do the individual card readings, okay? I can't stay so long today, but and this is interesting because we have seen this card before. I actually feel like we saw this last week. The cheetah card, get clear on your intention, stay focused, and move towards achieving your goal. It says move quickly, but I'm like, just move. Just get in the game. And so this really aligns with what we've just been talking about with if everything is changing, just embrace the change and get in there. Because the cheetah runs so fast that the cheetah could definitely be running into the storm and cutting off the time that we need to spend in the crappy parts, right? We don't want to spend a lot of time in the sucky parts. We want to move through to the good parts. Okay. Tea break. All right, so we're going to do our collective card reading, which is a series of cards that's for everyone. And so when I ask the cards, what is it that we need to know for everyone for their highest and best good to help us continue to move forward on our path for our evolution and for the blessing of all? Okay. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. It is an honor. It really is an honor for me to be here. It's okay. It's all good. It really is an honor. And you all lift me up so much. You have no idea. Y'all lift me up so much. All right, so we're going to choose a couple of cards of what is it that we need to know for our highest and best good to help us continue moving forward on our paths. And so this is, and this is really important. It says thoughts create your reality. Thoughts create your reality. Okay, so this is this reminder that we want to, when we start to feel, and if you missed the first part, definitely go back and watch the replay, because we were talking in the beginning about, stepping away when we were feeling overwhelmed or angry or frustrated or whatever it is. And so being able to take some space for ourselves is really, really important. And this reminds us, if we're having negative thoughts, we're creating that into our lives. And so if we are feeling that way, it's really important for us to take a breath, walk away, touch a tree, touch a pet, touch the grass, put our feet in the grass, and ask for the love of spirit in the universe to come and bless us and surround us and help us know that everything is going to be okay, because everything is going to be okay. All right, so then the second card is trusting our intuition. So trusting our intuition. And so when we have people around us that we feel like, that doesn't feel right to me, that doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel like uplifting or energizing, it feels draining, Like, trust your intuition, trust your gut. So as we're in this time of turmoil and change that we're going to feel here for a couple of weeks, of the planets that are moving and Pluto and in past that next new moon, as that energy starts to go back up, it's really important that we're asking, as we're saying, well, what is it? If I'm going to be in the turmoil, I'm going to just grab onto the other things that I'm in the turmoil with, and we're just going to, make less, we're going to head into that storm. But make sure that when you're heading into that storm, if you're going to grab onto that turmoil and you're going to, put yourself in there, using your intuition is really important so that you can still make good, conscientious decisions. Because if something doesn't feel right to you, trust that. I'm battling with that for myself, to be able to say, something's coming up on the horizon for me, and I have people who are like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. And there's part of me that's like, do I want you to be part of that? And I'm having to really trust my intuition and trust, how does this feel inside my body when I say, all right, well, is it just that this is going to be more work, or is there something else that's going on? Like, how am I feeling about this in my body? Trust that intuition and allow yourself to trust yourself, right? To trust yourself is so important, because so often we hear these things in our head and then we immediately are like, oh, no. And we negate, right? And we want that validation that we talked about in the beginning, right? Where we talked about, well, if there's a message that's coming, or a symbol, a sign that's coming through, then we stop and we say, well, who's calling, please? Who's that sign coming from? And the Spirit is saying, it doesn't matter who it's coming from. Pay attention. The important part isn't who sent it. The important part of my mail every day isn't the name of my mailman. It's Archie. He's awesome. But that's not the important part. The important part is he gave me my mail. He gave me the message. So I know I got a bill, I got an invitation, I got this and that. So the important part of the message isn't who delivered it. The important part is the message. And so if you are trusting your intuition, if you're getting a message, trust that. Because, the thing is that Spirit doesn't lead us wrong. They may not lead us in the easiest way if they're trying to, create a time of pruning and clearing for better things to come in. It's not always easy, but Spirit is not leading us in a negative way. But we get in there and we hear these things in our head, and if you hear this and you feel this intuition that snap, that comes in like, should I do that? Yes. Or you have that's intuition. If you say, oh, should I do this? And you're like, I don't know, well, maybe there's this, that, and the other thing. That's ego. That's left brain, okay? We want to stay in the right brain. So when the signs come in, it is hard, Pamela. It is hard to trust the intuition. But I'm telling you that the more you build that relationship with Spirit, the easier it gets. Because we have it's like if you think about your childhood best friend, if you're lucky enough to have somebody you've been friends with forever, you have a bond with that person because you have had years to build that relationship. And then when you meet somebody new and you're like, oh, well, I want to tell you all the things, but I don't know. Can I trust you? I don't know. I met my new neighbor, lovely man, caught me on my walk, and we walked together for a little while. But I felt myself being very cognizant of how much do I want to tell this person who's a total stranger? We have not established this trust. He's, I'm sure, very lovely. People who move into my neighborhood, all are very lovely. I only attract very lovely people. But how much do I want to tell this person? Because I don't know him. We don't have a trust yet. Over time, we will hopefully grow to be lovely neighbors, and I look forward to meeting the rest of his family and all the things. But that takes time. And so the more you can start the process with Spirit, where Spirit gives you a sign, Spirit says, here's the thing, and you say, okay, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to trust it. We're going to build trust. And then we're going to do it again, and we're going to build more trust, and we're going to do it again, and we'll build more trust, and we'll build more trust. And now we have a lifelong solid bond relationship with Spirit, where when Spirit comes in and says, turn right, I go, okay, and I turn right. I didn't even ask. You need me to turn right? Fine. Because you know what? The worst thing that happens is if it was the wrong turn, they're going to get me back on track. And I find that, so Pamela asks, are we overanalyzing that? Is that ego too? So here, let me tell this to you. Have you ever been in a place where you're driving along, maybe there's a light coming, and you are like, I should change lanes and be in a better position for when the light turns, and you're like, change lanes, don't change lanes, change, and you kind of do that thing with yourself. Every single time I do that, I'm in the wrong lane. Because that's me. That's ego. I'm like, what do I want to get me ahead or to be better or what, because it's for me. And I'm like, but when it just comes in my head that says, move now, I'm like, that's not ego. And I just go, okay, switch over lanes, whatever. But when I'm in there and I'm going, do I not, that's ego. So I don't know if that helps you, Pam, to understand. But when we start to be like, do I not, back forth, like a ping pong ball, that's left brain, that's ego. When you have that thing that just says, do it, because spirit is not wishy-washy. Spirit is not wishy-washy, period, end of story. They know who they are. They know what they're here to help with and to tell us to do. It's up to us whether we listen. They have a much better view of us. And you probably have seen me do this before. If you think of like a tapestry with a beautiful picture on the front of it, like if you have a tapestry on your wall or a needlepoint or something like that, or you're making a quilt or anything like that where you have this beautiful imagery on the front, but the back is this mishmash of threads and stuff going and knots and all kind of stuff. It's a mess. But see, here's this tapestry is up in the air. And see, they're looking down on the beautiful picture because they can see all that we cannot see. And we look up and we see the back. We see the mess. And we are like, what are you all doing? This is a mess. And they're like, but trust us because we see the other side. We see what you can't see. And so this is that reminder when spirit comes in, they're not wishy-washy. Spirit doesn't come in and go, well, you might move to the left. You might have a better parking spot in the right lane. Yeah. No, spirit comes in and says, stay in this lane. Because I hear it in my head when I say, I should go in that lane. And spirit says, go, stay. And they're also not verbose. That's me. But spirit is not verbose. They're very succinct. Spirit needs to get you the message. They need to get it to you quickly. So they're not going to be like, well, no. Spirit is like, go now. Turn left. Stop. Don't go through that light. They're very succinct. So if you're not sure, if you're having lots of chatter, that's probably left brain. But remembering that they can see the beautiful picture on the top that we cannot see. Oops, something just happened. Okay, if you were here for Bo with the barking, he's snoring now. I met a girl many years ago. We both said we knew each other. We could not say from where. We never met again. I felt a deep loss, and I don't know why. I have the same thing. I have a boy I danced with in a club in New York in the 80s. It was an amazing connection, Miles. It was like so romantic and just wonderful, and very much like that, that John Cusack movie Serendipity. And I always wondered, but I also know that if if our paths were meant to cross again, they would have. I also felt a deep loss. I couldn't even tell you the guy's name. I did have he had like a string bracelet or something that he gave me. I still have it, but it was just a beautiful memory. And one of the things, Miles, that really helps me about it is that it was understanding that it wasn't necessarily that I had, that he was meant to be part of my life for long term. Because, people come into your life, that reason, season, lifetime, right? It was more that connection was meant to show me something about connection, about who I am, about how I want to feel in a relationship, because that connection has served me in seeking out the subsequent partners that came into my life afterwards. So I was looking for that feeling that I learned from this one brief encounter with this man in New York when I was, 20. So maybe not to think of it as a deep loss, but as a cherished moment, and ask what is it that can be learned from it. So, all right. So, oops. All right. I think that was isn't this amazing? Okay. So this card I've been waving around as the tapestry illustration was the last card that I had pulled for us. Accept struggles as lessons. And so we've literally just been talking about that very thing. Accept struggles as lessons. So, All right, so we will now reshuffle. Gotta situate myself. And then we will start the part about individual card readings. Now, I don't know how many I can get to today, so we're going to go quick so that we can go and try to include as many people as possible, okay? All right, so Bianca, I see her comment first, so we're going to start with Bianca. If you have already said, please can I have a card, please do so say it again. I cannot read if you did not ask. However, if I did not get to you when we start this process, please do not put it in 5 times because then you're making it hard for me to see the other people. So just once, tell me card please. That's all I need. And then just one time, okay? All right. So we're going to start with Bianca. If you have not done a card request now, do it now. And if you have already done it, don't do it again. Okay? So if you have not done it prior to now, this is the time to do it. If you have asked for a card prior to now, I didn't see it because we weren't in that part of the time together, okay? So, Bianca, let go of ego. We're going to go quick because I want to make sure I can try and get everybody today. So, Bianca, let go of ego. So, this is the part about leading from your heart. Lead from your heart and trust the intuition that you're getting because you do get more intuition and I feel like you are not, and then it's the common thread today, right? We're not trusting it. So Bianca, let go of the ego and just lean into where you're being led and allow, ask spirit for more help. Let them have more of a role of what do I need to do, left, right, where am I going, and let them have more space in your head. Okay. All right. Michelle Krantz, Journey Within. Michelle, what are you supposed to be learning? Okay. What are you reading? What are you learning? What is it that you have been avoiding? What is it that you have been not wanting to learn? This is self-reflection. This is about getting to know yourself, but also remember, this is green. This is about prosperity and abundance, and it's also green is the heart chakra color, so this is about healing. So Michelle, there's something that you've been looking like, I buried it, I'm not talking about it, I don't want to hear about it, and they're telling you that this is the time for you to address it. Remember, if everything's topsy-turvy, embrace the topsy-turvy, right? So Michelle, this is a time for you to embrace that part and just know that you are being brought to a place of healing about it, okay? All right, where are we? Orban! Okay. All right. Thoughts create your reality. We saw this card already. So really ask yourself, what is it that you're thinking about? What is it that you're believing about your situation? What is it that you're believing about what is going on in the physical around you? Because that may not be the truth of the situation. So understanding that things are reshuffling for our highest good, okay? So as things are reshuffling, remember that this is happening for you and not happening to you. And that when it feels overwhelming, to ask yourself, ask them, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm not understanding here? What is it that is making me feel so this way or that way? How can I raise the vibration of this and keep my thoughts in a positive way? What is it that I'm missing? Because sometimes when we get in this place of anger and rage and frustration and just feel overwhelmed, stopping for a minute, what am I missing? What is it you're trying to get me to see? Because I'm not understanding and I feel low vibration about it. What is it you're trying to get me to see? And then all kind of stuff can come in. Okay, we're giving them permission to act on our behalf. So for that is for Orvan. All right, Chaya, who is also known as Zach, because I know that they would prefer to be called Zach, but I don't want people to be confused. Let go of ego. Let go of ego. So we've seen this before. So actually very interesting because I know we're going by Zach and I want to honor that, but whoever you are and whatever name that you are going by, you will still be a beautiful spark of divine light and love who blesses so many people with your actions and the light you shine in the world. So don't worry about the ego part. You just keep showing up as your most authentic self and being a light to the people. And when you get frustrated like a lot of us, we fall into the left side, we fall into the ego side. And so this is a reminder for you to stay true to you, and you keep going forward in the direction that you feel is most authentic for you. Okay? All right, Pamela. Okay. Okay, journey within. Okay, so we saw this already. The green is about healing. It's about abundance. It's about tackling those things we've buried inside of us, because everything is topsy-turvy. That stuff's going to come up, right? We've seen this with, if you followed any of the news with the droughts that, like, especially Lake Mead out in Nevada and California, that the water levels went down, and they're finding shipwrecks, and they're finding bodies buried, which they're pretty sure are connected to mob things where they've shoved people and stuck them in a barrel, and like, oh my gosh. But when things get topsy-turvy, stuff comes up. And so it's important to be ready and to say, okay, stuff is coming up. I maybe don't want it to, but it is going to be for my highest and best good, so I'm going to allow it. And when we hold so tightly to the thing, we make it a harder ride for ourselves. When we can be like a noodle, we can be more flexible, we can be more open to the information that's coming in. We allow ourselves to evolve. We allow ourselves to move through. It's the same advice I give on Mercury retrograde. We can allow ourselves to move through more smoothly. Just continue to know that whatever it is that's coming up for you, it's coming up to be healed. Okay? It's not coming up to torture you. It's coming up to be healed. There are things that we have all held on to for far too long, and it is time for us to let that shit go. Right? Somebody can sing the song. Let it go! All right. So, Candace. That was Gina, right? No, that was, okay. Sorry. That was Pam. Because we did Kaya. That was Pam. And Gina. Okay. Sorry. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. All right. So, Gina. And then Candace. Gina and then Candace. Hi, Sunny Bunny. All right. Gina. Love is your energy. Okay? Look at all those beautiful colors. Pinks and blues, right? All those high chakra colors. Okay, so Gina, this is just a reminder that you are on the right track and that you are following your heart and that you are going in the right direction. So continue to follow your heart and not get sucked into making that turn of where other people think you ought to go. Okay, so this is going to be about you continuing to follow your heart, leading with love, treating people with kindness and compassion. Love is your energy. Love is the engine. This is going to help you continue to move in the right direction. So make sure that you are going in your direction and not in the direction where others think you should go. Rule of my house is if you don't pay my bills, you don't get no vote. Okay? So Gina, you just know that you're the one driving the ship and that the ship is got love energy. Okay. 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 Candace. Candace. Sunny Bunny, you want a card? Do you want me to pick a card for you, my friend? All right, Candace, for you. Remember, if you want one, you have to ask for it. I will not. Let me say it that way. I will not read for people who have not asked. Okay. Okay. So this is for Candace. You are welcome. You are welcome. I'm so glad. Yay, Candace. Okay. So this is Feel Joy in All You Do. Now, this card came in upside down, and this deck doesn't really have the protection cards where if it's upside down, it means something different. But it is a reminder that it's easy for us to feel obligation. It's easy for us to feel, I have to do this. I have to do this. And we, all guilty, self included. I mean, I try to practice what I preach. And there's times where I'm like, oh, I got to take the dogs out again. But you know what? Because like my one dog, she's 14 now, and she doesn't see well, she doesn't hear well, and so it's hard to take her out at night. I go with a flashlight so she can maybe see, because if she can see, maybe she'll poop. It's a whole thing, right? And I think to myself, I gotta take the dang dog out again. But at the same time, I think, no, I get to take the dog out because she has given us 14 years of love and protection and snuggles and kisses and just the most wonderful dog, the most wonderful dog. I get to take care of her now in her older age. I get to make sure she's good. I get to make sure she's okay. And that's a joy because, you know, we lost our Buster after only having him 3 years, and that sucked. And so for her to be able to reach old age and to have this wonderful, you know, golden era of her life, so we think about these things, and it's very easy for us to be like, to feel put upon, right? And that's ego. Okay, we get over the like, I have to, I can't believe I have to. But we can stay in the place of I get to. And so feel joy in all you do. And so it does come in upside down, which is just a reminder to kind of check where you feel, to check where you're coming from. It doesn't have any other meaning. It's just a reminder to like take, when something comes in upside down in this particular deck, for me it just says, take another look at it, right? We just want to think about it in a little bit different way. Are we feeling joy in all the things that we're doing, or are we feeling put upon? So even the things that are like, oh, I got to take out the trash or whatever, like that is still like, all right, well, isn't it nice that we have trash service and I don't have to have that in my house and I don't have to drive it to the trash heap or whatever it is, you know? So to be able to think about things in a slightly different way, okay? Feeling joy in all the things. All right. No, Janie, you're raining time. Sister Cleo. Okay, you made me laugh today, Robert Stanley Bell. So Janie, you're not too late. Not too late. All right, Bonnie, and then we'll do Jade. So if you want a card, please let me know. If you are Robert or Janie and you want a card, let me know. All right, Bonnie. So this is Trust Your Intuition. And Bonnie, it feels like there's been a lot of stuff that's been shifting around for you, but I just want to show you this color here because it's half green and it's half teal. So this is talking about green is the heart chakra color, knowing that you're healed and you're healing and that you have love and support that's around you. And the teal, because we have, when blue and green mix together, we can get into that teal with the yellow. And so we get into that throat chakra. Blue is more in the throat chakra of speaking your truth and saying what you want, what you need. And so as you're healing, then it's really important, Bonnie, that you are saying what you need to continue your growth and to continue your path forward, because you have been on this place of expansion and growth. And so this is going to be a really important time for you to trust your intuition, know that you're on a path of healing, and to be able to say what you need. So that's for Bonnie. Okay? All right. So Bonnie, and then we're going to go to Janie and Ellen. Hey, stop. That's Bo. If you tuned in late, that's Bo. He's my new drawer dog. Hey. Okay, what did I just see? That was Bonnie. We're going to do Janie and Ellen. All right, and then we're probably going to have to cut it off. So Janie and Ellen. Okay. Abundance is your right. And so this also came in upside down. And so this card deck does not have this, thing where the card's upside down, and so it means something totally different. But what it does have when you have this card to be, this deck go upside down, it's just to ask you to think about it in a different way. And so abundance is your right. And so are you remembering that, or are you forgetting it? And this kind of goes back to the card we just had, which is finding joy in all the things. Like, are you saying that, are you coming from a place of love and abundance and a high vibration? Are you coming from this place of like, oh, because it really makes a difference. And so abundance is your birthright. You need to own that shit. You need to know it. You need to say, I know that every single time I take a breath, Spirit is working on my behalf. Every single time I have a thought, Spirit is working on my behalf. My job is to keep my breath, my thoughts in high vibration, so that when they come in and they want to touch that and they want to help move something in my world, I am vibrating it such a way that it's just going to set off that spark, right? If you've ever seen in the cartoons where they have the flow of the path of the dynamite, they have to put the gunpowder out, and then they're going to light it, and it's going to go boom, right? Sometimes it goes That's low vibration, right? That's forgetting that abundance is our birthright. When we stay in that place of, yes, the Spirit is blessing me, the universe is working on my behalf, all of those things, then when they touch that spark, it's going to go zoop, boom, right? We want to have that. So we want to stay in that place of knowing that all the things that are happening for us to help us move to a higher place. Okay? All right. So that was Janie, and Ellen is going to be our last one. And and we're going to ban Joanne. Ban. Bye. We don't do any spammers here. So if you're a spammer, just go, because we're going to ban you. So, hi, watching from the UK. All right. So, Ellen, and Ellen's going to be our last one. If you're a spammer, just leave, because we're going to ban you, and then we're going to close the comments. So you can't come and harass our people. Gotten wise. So if you're watching on the replay and you need to make a comment, feel free to send me a message, because we're just going to turn it off and protect people from being spammers. No spammers here. Okay. All right. So Ellen, you are here for a reason. Ellen, and you see all the different colors that are in here of all the chakras. You've got the red and the orange and the yellow and the blue. The only thing that's not in here is green. It's probably in there somewhere. This just reminds you, you've got to get grounded, and then you can move into your higher chakras. You are here for a reason. You are expanding and growing, and you are here to bless others. You are here to bring light. And if you ever are doubting that you have a reason or purpose to be here, I always want to bring people back to the starfish story, right? Where all the starfish washed up on the beach, and the one little kid is throwing them back one at a time, and an adult comes by and says, well, you can't possibly make any difference. And the kid says, well, I'm going to make a difference to that one, okay, and throws it back. It isn't about how big of a splash. It is about knowing you are here to make an impact. And if you were here, we were talking before about who said that they met a woman and had this amazing connection, and then they crossed paths. And I, had met this guy in New York at a club, and same thing. It made a difference. We didn't have this huge impact. We didn't marry and have kids and have a life or whatever. But it made an impact. It made a difference, because that connection impacted all the connections afterwards. That connection impacted how I looked at relationships and how I wanted to feel in a relationship going forward. Was it all exactly the same? No, because you have reality that comes and sets in. But that person made a difference in my life. Were they meant to stay in my life for the whole, 53 years? No, but they made a difference. And so please don't ever doubt or question that you are here for a reason, because even if your reason is to make a difference for one single person, it matters. It absolutely matters. And so embracing the allness of you, and embracing the allness of your energy and the chakras, and connecting to the earth and connecting as above, so that you stay plugged in, especially in these tumultuous times where we know Pluto is trying to toss everything up like a salad, just shoot, and catch it all back in the bowl in a totally different way. This is a time for us to embrace change. This is a time for us to embrace transformation. And so if things are changing for you, let them, because they are all working for your highest and best good. All right, we're going to do one last card for the collective. Hello, hello, hello. And then I've got to cut it off today. So happy to see somebody from Florida. That's exciting. Yay. Yay, because I'm in Florida. So happy spring equinox. Happy spring equinox. And if you haven't tried to watch, if you got here late, definitely check out the replay. And if you are in Florida and you're somebody who goes to Disney World, I'm going to tell you the soft opening for the Tron ride at Magic Kingdom started today, and my older son, helped build some of the elements that are in the gift shop, and I can't wait to get over there. I've seen the pictures. I can't wait to get over there and see the stuff that he's built with his own two hands. It's very, very exciting. So if you ever come to Central Florida, definitely let me know. All right, so this last card for the collective. Hello from Nova Scotia, Canada. And this is express your feelings. This is express your feelings. Now, this is not vomiting your, every unexpressed thought all over somebody, but this is expressing your feelings. This is expressing your feelings could also be calling your best friend, talking to your partner, talking to a parent or a sibling. Do not unload all your stuff on your children. Just a word of advice. But often, the place that I express my feelings, where if I feel like I need to be heard, a lot of times I go in the restroom, my bathroom in my house, and I talk to me. Because sometimes the person that needs to be heard is me, but the person I need to hear from is me. And I don't necessarily need to put all my stuff on someone else. That I can speak to myself in the mirror, and so often clarity will come. So express your feelings, absolutely, because your feelings are valid and you deserve to be heard. But use some discernment about where and how that looks like. Because sometimes we may just need to talk to ourselves. Sometimes we just need to sit quietly and talk to them. And I think that talking in the mirror is a similar thing. To just get quiet and talk to them. So express your feelings, but just be careful. And this is the last card for everybody, about vomiting them all over the place, because as we're coming into this time of everything is topsy-turvy and everything is going to change, that this energy of change and transformation, Pluto's energy is all about change and transformation, but at the same time, it's all about bringing people together. It's all about building a new community, right? We had the age of Aquarius, and now people are going to come together in a new way, right? And we're seeing the pendulum swung to the left. It's swinging back further to the right, and it is going to swing back to the left. And so we want to bring people together. So as we are expressing our feelings, we want to make sure we are doing that from a place of love. We want to know that our feelings are valid and they are worthy of being shared, but sometimes they only need to be shared with ourselves or one other person. So just be mindful of that as we go forward, because we don't want to vomit our stuff all over everybody else. That's not how we build community. Okay? I am here if you need me. Feel free to message me. If you are coming in late and you didn't get to see it from the beginning, please know that we are going to turn off the comments to help protect you all from spammers. And that seems to be working, which is wonderful. And I am just so honored for all of you to spend some time with me on a Monday afternoon. It is a joy to me to be here. It is absolutely just a privilege to spend time in your space. And as always, I want you to remember how very much you are loved. Have a beautiful week, and I look forward to being back together again soon. Mwah.